In the crisp autumn air of a small Connecticut town, Orion Thompson stood at the altar, his hands trembling as he slipped the ring onto Sarah's finger, knowing deep down that this vow was a betrayal of his own heart. The church was filled with approving nods from his family, especially his father, Robert, whose stern gaze had dictated every major decision in Orion's life since childhood. But as the congregation applauded, Orion's mind flashed to a forbidden summer romance from college, a secret that could unravel everything he'd built to please the man who raised him. Orion had grown up in a household where tradition reigned supreme. Robert Thompson, a decorated veteran and pillar of the community, expected his only son to follow a straight path, excel in sports, marry a nice girl, and carry on the family name. Any deviation was met with disapproval, often laced with lectures about real men and the dangers of modern society's confusions. Orion, sensitive and introspective, learned early to hide his attractions. In high school, he dated girls to fit in, ignoring the pull toward his best friend, Jake, who eventually moved away after an awkward confession that Orion dismissed as a joke. College offered a brief escape. At Yale, away from his father's watchful eye, Orion met Liam Hartley, a charismatic literature major with a laugh that lit up rooms. Their friendship blossomed into something more during late-night study sessions in the library. One rainy evening, under the glow of desk lamps, Liam leaned in and kissed him. For the first time, Orion felt seen, not judged. They spent 2 years in a hidden relationship, stealing moments in dorm rooms and secluded parks. But when Robert visited unexpectedly and questioned Orion about his lack of girlfriends, the fear crept back. Orion ended things with Liam abruptly, claiming he needed to focus on his future career in law. Graduating with honors, Orion returned home and threw himself into the family law firm. Robert beamed with pride, but the pressure mounted. "When are you going to settle down, son? A man needs a family to be complete." Orion, desperate to maintain the facade, started dating Sarah, a kind-hearted teacher from their church. She was everything his father approved of: wholesome, supportive, and eager for a traditional life. Their courtship was whirlwind. Within a year, they were engaged. Orion convinced himself it was love, or at least companionship. Sarah adored him, and he cared for her deeply. But nights alone brought dreams of Liam, stirring guilt that he buried under work. The wedding was a grand affair, with Robert toasting to the continuation of our legacy. Orion smiled through it all, but inside, a storm brewed. Married life settled into routine. Mornings with coffee and newspapers, evenings with Sarah planning their future home. Yet Orion felt like an actor in a play, reciting lines that weren't his. Social gatherings amplified the charade. Friends envied their perfect marriage, while Orion envied their authenticity. Whispers of doubt grew louder when Sarah suggested starting a family. "I'm not ready," he'd say, masking the truth that he might never be. Tensions escalated at family dinners. Robert, now in his 70s, often ranted about the decay of society, targeting LGBTQ+ rights in the news. "It's unnatural," he'd declare, and Orion would nod silently, his stomach churning. One evening, after a particularly heated debate on same-sex marriage bans in some states, Orion excused himself, retreating to the bathroom to splash water on his face. Staring in the mirror, he wondered how long he could sustain the lie. Sarah noticed his distance but attributed it to stress from the firm. She tried to bridge the gap with affection, but Orion's responses felt mechanical. A turning point came during a business trip to New York. Wandering the streets after a meeting, Orion stumbled into a bookstore and spotted Liam across the aisle, browsing poetry. Time froze. Liam looked the same, warm eyes, easy smile, but with lines of experience. They caught up over coffee, the conversation flowing like no years had passed. Liam was now a published author, openly gay, living with a partner in Brooklyn. "I always knew you were holding back," Liam said gently. Orion deflected, mentioning his marriage, but the encounter cracked his armor. Back home, he couldn't shake the what-ifs. Months later, Robert's health declined rapidly. Diagnosed with cancer, he fought valiantly, but the end came swiftly. Planning the funeral, Orion felt a mix of grief and relief. Sarah supported him tirelessly, but as relatives gathered, old wounds reopened. At the wake, amidst condolences, Orion saw a familiar face. Liam, who had heard through mutual friends and came to pay respects. Their eyes met across the room, sparking a silent connection. Later, in the quiet of the garden, they talked. "I'm sorry for how I ended things," Orion whispered. Liam nodded. "I understand the pressure, but life's too short for regrets." The funeral service was solemn, Robert's casket draped in the American flag. As the eulogy praised his father's unwavering principles, Orion's mind raced. He thought of the letters he'd found in Robert's study, correspondence from an old army buddy, hinting at unspoken affections. Was his father hiding too? The realization hit like a wave. Perhaps Robert's rigidity stemmed from his own suppressed truths. During the burial, as dirt fell on the coffin, Orion felt the weight lift. He glanced at Liam, standing apart, and knew change was inevitable. In the weeks following, Orion's world unraveled. Conversations with Sarah turned honest. He confessed his orientation, tears streaming. She was devastated, feeling betrayed, but also compassionate. "I love you, but this isn't fair to either of us." They agreed to separate amicably, navigating the legalities with care. Family reactions varied. His mother, Evelyn, was supportive, having suspected for years. Aunts and uncles whispered judgments, fueling community gossip. Orion faced backlash at work, clients questioning his stability. Reconnecting with Liam brought solace. Their meetings evolved from coffee to dinners, rebuilding trust. Liam's partner had ended things amicably, leaving room for possibility. Yet, societal conflicts loomed. In conservative Connecticut, coming out meant stares and lost friendships. Orion joined a support group, hearing stories of others who'd hidden for family approval. Debates raged. Was it selfish to upend lives, or brave to seek authenticity? One member argued, "Pleasing others at your expense is a slow death." As Orion embraced his identity, he volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, advocating against discrimination. A heated town hall on inclusive education pitted him against old family friends. "Think of the children," opponents cried. Orion countered, "Think of the children hiding like I did." The experience empowered him, but not without cost. Strained relations and anonymous threats. Liam became his anchor, their bond deepening into romance. Walks in the park, hands intertwined, felt liberating. Yet, doubts lingered. Had he waited too long? Sarah moved on, dating again, and Orion wished her well. Reflecting on his father's grave, he pondered the cycle of suppression. The fallout from Orion's revelation rippled through his life like aftershocks. At the law firm, partners called him in for a chat. "We support you personally," they said, "but clients might not understand." Subtle shifts followed. Fewer high-profile cases, more administrative work. Orion suspected discrimination but lacked proof. He considered suing, but the irony of fighting his own firm deterred him. Instead, he networked with progressive lawyers, eyeing a move to a more inclusive practice in New York. Home life transformed too. Divorcing Sarah was mutual, but dividing assets stirred emotions. "I thought we were building something real," she said during mediation. Orion apologized profusely, explaining his internalized fear. She forgave him gradually, even attending a pride event with him as friends. Their story sparked debates among mutual acquaintances. Was Orion a victim of societal pressure, or had he deceived her intentionally? Online forums buzzed with opinions, some calling him courageous, others labeling him selfish. Family dynamics fractured. Evelyn, his mother, became his fiercest ally. "Your father loved you, but he was a product of his time," she confided. Over tea, she shared stories of Robert's youth, hinting at a close friendship with a comrade lost in war. Perhaps more than platonic. Orion wondered if uncovering that could heal wounds, but decided against digging. Some secrets belonged to the dead. Siblings reacted differently. His sister, Claire, embraced him fully, while his brother, Mark, distanced himself, citing confusion for the kids. Re-entering the dating world as an openly gay man in his 30s felt daunting. Liam eased the transition, introducing him to queer circles in the city. At a gallery opening, they mingled with artists and activists, discussing marriage equality's progress and remaining hurdles. Orion shared his journey, inspiring a young attendee struggling with coming out. Yet, not all interactions were positive. A conservative relative confronted him at a family reunion. "What would Dad think?" they sneered. Orion replied calmly, "He'd want me happy." But the exchange left him shaken. Conflicts intensified when Orion advocated publicly. Writing an op-ed for the local paper about his experience, he highlighted the toll of repression. The piece went viral, drawing praise and vitriol. Supporters sent encouraging messages, while detractors accused him of dishonoring his father's memory. One anonymous email threatened exposure of family skeletons, prompting Orion to install security. Liam worried, "Is this worth the risk?" Orion affirmed, "Hiding wasn't living." Their relationship faced tests too. Liam's ex resurfaced, stirring jealousy. "He's just a friend now," Liam assured, but Orion's insecurities flared, rooted in years of denial. Therapy helped. Sessions unpacked his father's influence, revealing patterns of conditional love. "You married to please him," the therapist noted. "Now choose for yourself." Orion grappled with guilt over Sarah, questioning if he'd ruined her chance at happiness. A major clash arose during a community debate on LGBTQ+ rights in schools. Orion spoke passionately against book bans, arguing for representation. Opponents, including church leaders, claimed it promoted agendas. Shouts erupted. One man yelled, "People like you are confusing our youth." Orion countered with data on suicide rates among closeted teens, his voice steady despite trembling hands. The event made headlines, positioning him as a local figure. Support grew, but so did isolation from old circles. Amid turmoil, moments of joy emerged. A weekend getaway with Liam to the Cape offered respite. Watching the sunset, hands linked, Orion felt peace. "I wish I'd found this sooner," he murmured. Liam smiled. "Better now than never." Back home, they hosted dinners for blended friends, straight and queer, fostering dialogues that bridged divides. One guest, a former colleague, admitted, "Your story changed my views." As winter approached, Orion reflected on growth. He'd lost some relationships but gained authenticity. Volunteering at a youth center, he mentored a teen named Tyler, mirroring his younger self. Tyler's coming-out story echoed Orion's, fueling his resolve. Yet, ethical dilemmas persisted. Should he have stayed closeted to spare pain? Friends debated. Some said yes for family harmony, others no for personal integrity. The high point came at a gala for equality. Orion received an award for advocacy, Liam by his side. In his speech, he honored his father indirectly. "We all carry legacies, but we can redefine them." Applause thundered, but backstage, doubt whispered. Had the funeral truly changed everything? Or was it just the catalyst for inevitable chaos? Navigating the new normal, Orion dove deeper into activism, joining a national organization fighting anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. Trips to Washington for lobbying exposed him to broader struggles: trans rights battles, conversion therapy bans. Meeting survivors, he channeled anger into action. "Your personal story resonates," a senator told him. Back in Connecticut, he organized rallies, drawing crowds despite opposition protests. Signs clashed: "Love is love" versus "Protect tradition." Personal life intertwined with public. Liam proposed cohabitation, a step Orion hesitated on, fearing commitment after his marriage. "I'm all in," Liam said. "But only if you are." Therapy sessions explored this. Orion realized his father's expectations still lingered, equating stability with heteronormativity. Gradually, he agreed, and moving in brought domestic bliss. Cooking together, debating books. Yet, external pressures tested them. A tabloid article sensationalized Orion's double life, interviewing disgruntled relatives. "He fooled us all," one aunt claimed. The backlash peaked when Orion's firm demoted him subtly. Frustrated, he resigned, starting his own practice focused on discrimination cases. Clients flocked. A fired teacher, a denied adoption couple. Success validated his path, but exhaustion set in. Liam noticed, suggesting a break. "You're fighting the world. Don't forget us." A quiet evening reaffirmed their bond, discussing futures, marriage, perhaps kids via adoption. Family reconciliation attempts varied. Claire hosted a dinner inviting Mark. Tensions simmered. Mark questioned, "Why now? Dad's gone." Orion explained patiently, "Because I couldn't live the lie anymore." Mark softened slightly, admitting societal changes confused him. Evelyn mediated, sharing a letter from Robert's past. A farewell to his war buddy, laced with unspoken love. "He struggled too," she said. The revelation humanized Robert, sparking family therapy. Societal conflicts escalated with a state bill restricting LGBTQ+ visibility. Orion testified, his story swaying moderates. Opponents heckled, one shouting, "You're destroying families." Orion retorted, "Hiding destroys them more." The bill failed narrowly, a victory celebrated with Liam over champagne. Yet, victory felt bittersweet. Anonymous calls harassed them, prompting police reports. Introspection deepened. Visiting Robert's grave, Orion spoke aloud, "I hope you'd understand." Dreams of his father evolved from judgmental to accepting, perhaps wishful thinking. Support groups debated ethics. Is outing oneself always right, or context-dependent? Orion leaned toward authenticity, but acknowledged costs. Romance with Liam flourished amid chaos. A surprise trip to San Francisco for Pride immersed them in celebration. Parades, speeches, Orion felt belonging. "This is what I missed," he said. Liam grinned. "Now you have it." Back home, they navigated jealousy when Liam's book tour loomed. "Trust me," Liam urged. Orion did, strengthening their foundation. A pivotal conflict arose at a church event. Invited by Sarah, now engaged, Orion attended for closure. The pastor preached on traditional values. Eyeing him, congregants whispered. Orion stood during Q&A. Love isn't confined to traditions. Debate ensued, some applauding, others leaving. Sarah hugged him after. "Proud of you." As spring bloomed, Orion's advocacy gained national attention. A podcast interview went viral, prompting invitations to speak. Balancing with Liam proved challenging. A missed anniversary led to argument. "You're everywhere but here," Liam said. Orion apologized, recommitting. They planned a vacation, dreaming of normalcy. Yet undercurrents of doubt persisted. Had the funeral liberated or burdened him? Friends argued both sides, fueling internal debate. Orion journaled, weighing joys against pains, concluding growth outweighed regret. With momentum building, Orion's practice thrived, attracting pro bono cases that highlighted systemic biases. One involved a teen expelled for being gay. Winning the lawsuit set precedent, earning acclaim. Media dubbed him the advocate who came out late. Interviews probed, "Regret hiding?" Orion answered honestly, "Yes, but it shaped me." Detractors online trolled, claiming he sought attention post-father's death. Liam's career paralleled. His novel, inspired by their story, anonymized, hit shelves. Launch parties blended their worlds, but a review criticized romanticizing deception. Liam defended, "It's about human complexity." Orion supported, but the scrutiny strained. A jealous fan flirted with Liam, testing Orion's security. "You're my choice," Liam reassured. Family bonds mended slowly. Mark attended a barbecue, bringing his kids. Awkward at first, it warmed when the children asked innocent questions. "Uncle Orion has a boyfriend?" one queried. Orion nodded, explaining simply. Mark later confided, "I'm trying to understand." Evelyn beamed, seeing progress. Broader conflicts loomed with national elections. Anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric surged. Orion campaigned against it, door-knocking in suburbs. Encounters varied. Supportive nods, slammed doors. One homeowner debated heatedly, "It's against nature." Orion shared science, personal anecdotes. Wins felt incremental but cumulative. Intimate moments grounded him. Liam surprised with a proposal during a hike. "Marry me?" Orion, tearful, accepted. Planning the wedding contrasted his first, joyful, authentic. Invites extended to all, testing acceptances. Sarah RSVP'd yes, a gesture of healing. Pre-wedding jitters brought reflections. Therapy delved into father's influence. "You pleased him, now please yourself." Orion visited the grave, leaving flowers. "I found my path." Dreams shifted to approval, easing guilt. Societal pushback intensified. A protest at their venue drew homophobes. Counter-protesters outnumbered them. Police intervened, but the incident made news. Orion's speech went viral. Love wins through persistence. Support poured in, but threats escalated, prompting bodyguards for the event. The wedding day dawned bright. Vows exchanged under a gazebo, surrounded by allies. Liam's words, "You chose truth, I choose you." Reception buzzed with toasts, dances. Mark raised a glass. To new beginnings. Absent relatives stung, but presence outweighed. Honeymoon in Europe offered escape. Wandering Paris streets, Orion felt free. Discussions turned philosophical. Is societal acceptance inevitable or fought eternally? Liam optimistic, Orion cautious. Returning, reality hit. A client lost a case due to biased jury. Orion appealed, vowing persistence. Mentorship expanded. Tyler, now out, thrived. "You saved me," he said. Orion demurred. "You saved yourself." Ethical quandaries arose in debates. A panel discussed late bloomers. Selfish or survivors? Orion argued context, sparking audience polls. Results split, mirroring society's divide. As summer waned, Orion and Liam settled into married life. Home renovations symbolized fresh starts. Yet, echoes of past lingered. A father's photo on the mantle, reminder of change's catalyst. Life post-wedding stabilized, but challenges persisted. Orion's firm expanded, hiring diverse staff. A landmark case against workplace discrimination drew national eyes. Winning affirmed his purpose. Media hailed him, but burnout loomed. Liam insisted on balance. "We fought for this life. Live it." Personal growth continued. Adopting a dog brought routine joy, walks fostering talks on legacy. "Kids someday?" Liam asked. Orion nodded, exploring options. Surrogacy debates ensued. Friends split on ethics for same-sex couples. Family integration deepened. Holidays united them. Mark's family joined, kids embracing Uncle Liam. Evelyn shared more about Robert. He'd be proud. In his way. Orion believed it, finding peace. Activism evolved to education. Orion lectured at universities. Sharing his ARC students questioned, "Why marry her?" He explained societal pressures, sparking essays on conformity. One class debated, mandatory coming out? Orion opposed, stressing individual timing. Conflicts flared with renewed legislation threats. Orion lobbied tirelessly, testifying in hearings. Opponents personal, "Your lifestyle choices." He interrupted, "Identity, not choice." Victories hard won, but progress evident. Romance endured trials. A health scare for Liam, minor, but frightening, prioritized health. "Can't lose you," Orion said. Recovery strengthened bonds, prompting vows renewal informally. Community roles grew. Orion chaired a foundation aiding closeted individuals. Stories poured in, executives, athletes hiding. He counseled anonymity until ready, debating risks. Reflections on journey culminated in a memoir draft. Writing cathartic, exploring father's impact. Publisher interest surged, promising wider influence. As years blurred, Orion pondered change's ripple. Funeral as turning point, loss birthing gain. Friends' lives shifted too. Sarah remarried happily, crediting closure. Yet, Core question lingered in debates. Was sacrificing personal truth for familial peace ever justifiable? Is it morally right to maintain a facade of heterosexuality to fulfill parental expectations, even if it means denying one's authentic self?